Hello and a good morning, good afternoon and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the tube. Hope you're today, hope you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. Welcome to the A&Q Wednesday, everybody. I'm really kind of calm and relaxed after that intro jam. It definitely went places. And it was really nice. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, hope you did as well. Anyway, let's get to your questions, shall we? Enough zoning out. Well, that's really not easy to do. Anyway, so question one today, people tube, is you own a lot of guitars. Which ones do you not connect with? Show and tell. I do own a lot of guitars, yes. The ones I don't connect with, I no longer own. Because I've owned a lot of guitars and do own a lot of guitars, I have a very kind of like good kind of gauge, if you will, on what guitars I like and what I don't like. So when I get a guitar for whatever reason, and it just doesn't connect, I tend to not be interested in it. I'll either sell it or I'll give it away. I don't, at this point in time, I don't have any guitars I don't connect with, because again, like I say, if a guitar comes to me that I don't connect with, I will give it away or I'll sell it, depending on what it is. Because that's just the way it is. I don't want a guitar that doesn't help, doesn't connect with me, and it doesn't want me neither, obviously. So, at this point in time, I don't have any guitars I don't connect with. Sure, there is some guitars I connect with more than others. The ST62 here, but basically the ones in this rack here, I've got a couple downstairs, and I've got a couple back at 78. But predominantly, if a guitar, like I say, if a guitar doesn't connect with me, I'm not bothered by it. I just don't want it. I'm not. It's one of those kind of things where I'm like, if that isn't clicking, I'm not bothered. So, but like I say, at this point in time, I don't actually have a guitar that I don't connect with totally. The last guitar I didn't connect with, sadly, was my friend Mike's Les Paul. That really annoyed me, actually. I really, and that is the problem sometimes, is you really want to like a guitar, you really want to connect with a guitar, and no matter what you do, it just never clicks, and you love it, you love the guitar. It's like, it's not like you don't love the guitar, you love the way it looks, the way it plays, but on that extra level that's above that, there's nothing there. And when that happens, it's kind of like a bit of a buzzkill, to be honest with you. And it's a bit of kind of like, it's just a bit of a downer, because there's a lot of guitars that I've wanted to love over the years, and there's a lot of guitars I've owned over the years which I wish I loved and kept, but I sold them because they never connected. They never connected like Mr. ST here, or Mr. White, or the 62, or the Tokai Les Paul, the Revelation there, or some of the ones I've got downstairs, or some of the ones I've got at home. It's really difficult for me to like every guitar. I mean, I personally believe, and again, if I don't like a guitar, you'll never see it. I don't really like doing negative reviews. I've done a couple recently with things on here and then the other, and there's been a few negative things that have come my way recently, which is kind of a bit annoying. The Zoom G6 was a weird one, because it was, like the title suggested, it was exactly the same as a G5N. It was love, hate, love. I love that pedal. I love the Zoom G6. The Zoom G6. Absolutely love it. Sounds great. Easy to program. It's amazing. But plastic. Still boggles my mind, that one does, people do. But as far as guitars that I have that I don't connect with, I don't own any at this point in time. And like I say, if a guitar does come to me that I don't connect with, it doesn't hang around long. Like I say, I'll sell it or I'll give it away. I've had quite a few. There was the vintage Gold Top that I gave to my friend Bob. I've had a couple of other guitars that I've given away as well, and there's a couple of guitars obviously I've sold as well. But I just never connected. They were really good, and then they never clicked. I used to have, people with a tube. If you've been around on this channel long enough, you might have seen the video I did with a guy called Jason North, who is a local Lincolnshire guy, and he's got his own band, the Blues Boy Kings. And I went to see his collection of stuff, because he's got really cool, amazing gear, and and he's got my old red Mexican Strat. It's basically a clone of Mr. White, but it was 2005, I think, that one. Mr. White's 2002. I believe the red one was 2005 or 2004, but I'm leaning more towards 2005. I don't actually know without my records. But that guitar was a weird one. When I bought that red Strat, I was umming and ahhing about buying it. My sister says, buy it, you only live once, and she's dead right. And she was right about this. I bought the guitar, and initially this is amazing. I love it. You know, it sounds exactly the same as Mr. White. It feels the same. It's got the same pickups. Everything's in. You know, it's just amazing. And it was candy apple red. Gorgeous guitar. Absolutely gorgeous guitar. And I kind of miss it, to be perfectly honest with you, Pikachu. But it's kind of like a nostalgia feeling. It's not a feeling of kind of like, you know, I really wish I could have that guitar back, because Jason, for one, ain't selling it. He was like, you're not having that back, and I'm not selling it. So, like, you know, if he ever does sell it, though, I think I'll be there knocking on the door saying, I love that. But they're worth a lot more money than they were when I bought them now, so that could be a problem. Because I bought Mr. White and I called him Mr. Red. I'm the genius with names, and I bought them for like 300 and something odd quid. They weren't a lot. But still a lot of money. But they weren't a great deal of money in comparison to today. What some Mexican reissues fetch, it's crazy, and they're worth a lot more money now. But either way, you know. But that guitar, like I say, let's get back on track here, Dave. Tangent over. Vroom for now. Vroom. This is still a tangent actually. But anyway. But I got a guitar, I used it for a load of gigs. I had it as my backup guitar to Mr. White, obviously, because it was the perfect backup. You know, it sounded the same, felt the same, you know, pretty much was the same guitar. It had a little bit of a fatter neck, but it was still amazing. Anyway, that guitar fell like massively out of favour with me after about 2 years, give or take. And literally, I don't think I played that guitar, literally didn't touch that guitar for maybe, wow, God, how long? A long time, Pilcher. I can't actually think. I mean, it must be in the region of like 5 years, something like that, maybe 4 to 5 years. I didn't play that guitar at all. You know, I actually think I had it in a case. I think I put it away. I was not that interested in it at all, because it just didn't connect. There was nothing there anymore. When I first got it, it was amazing. And then after a while, it just kind of like meh, and just went off. You know, and I just stopped playing it. It just didn't feel right at all. And then one day, I just thought, oh yeah, I'm going to go and get my red Strat out and give it a go. Because at this point, I was playing vintage. I had my main vintage Strat, which I'd sprayed white. And I had my black one as well. But the black one never really did it for me. It was a great guitar, but it was a bit weird, and the neck was big, and I didn't get along with it as well as my second V6, one that lives with Nicole and Marjo in France. That guitar is ridiculous, and I'm glad they've got it. But I was using that at the time, but I wanted another guitar as a backup, and the other V6 wasn't doing it for me. And so I went and got the red Strat out, and for some reason, it just clicked. And again, it was just like, whoa. And literally, I think from that point on, that was my main guitar for quite a lot of gigs. I tended to favour that for a while over my vintage V6. The V6 was kind of like a shared number one between that and the V6, because I just found this thing within the red Strat. I don't know what it was. I mean, I used it quite a lot at that point in time, and it just really worked for me. And I just loved it. It was a great, and it still is a great guitar. It really is an amazing. It looks stunning as well. Like I say, you can see it in that video I did with Jason North. It's absolutely amazing guitar. But then obviously, I was playing it. But then the opportunity came to buy the 62 Strat. And I was just like, well, a lot of stuff's going to get sold. I mean, I sold so much stuff to help fund the 62. And the red Strat was on the list. And I sold it to Jason. And I've sold a lot of things to Jason. He's bought a lot of my stuff. Some of which I've actually bought back off him. Anyway, flaky, not at all. Anyway, but yeah, he bought that off me. And again, it helped fund the 62. and I sold loads of other stuff. I sold my Road-worn Strat as well. The Road-worn Strat was another one of those guitars that I got initially, and it worked to start with, and after a while it fell out of favour and I got a bit bored with it, and it just didn't connect at all. There was no connection left after a while. And then when I relicked into the John Frusciante one, a little bit of that connection came back, but it never really came fully back, and I ended up selling that, and it belongs to a guy called Davey Holden who lives in Ireland, and it's gone to an awesome home, and I couldn't have wished for a better person for that guitar to go to. And it's all over his channel, which is really, really cool. But that guitar was like the first guitar I really relicked into the John Frusciante. That's my John Frusciante Mark 1 Strat. Like I say, I don't know whatever happened to Mark 2. I sold the Mark 2, and the Mark 3's just sat behind the camera, just there. But I do have a desire to do a Mark 4. Now I have the Heart book. I can't pronounce it. I don't want to butcher his name. But the guy who did the book Heart, the thing on John Frusciante, he there's an amazing picture in there, John 62 Strat, like really close up. I really want to do a Mark IV now, so I can get really ridiculous on the detail. I mean, I'm talking geek level like thingy. I might vlog that as well, but I've got to get a body first. Anyway, that aside, a lot of guitars that I've had a lot of guitars that haven't connected. I've got actually a list, people of the tube. I've got a huge list. I document and catalogue all my guitars and amps with serial numbers and what they are. It's basically just in case anything ever gets stolen. I really recommend people doing this if they've got a lot of guitars or a very gigging musician. I think it's really important to catalogue your gear with serial numbers and descriptions, and also certain other things as well, like pictures as well. I've got pictures of all these guitars and stuff. So if one does get stolen and it comes up in, like, say, a cash converters or a second-hand shop, you can go down, identify it, and get it back. You know what I mean? It's unrefutably yours if you've got details of what it is. You know what I mean? So and there are a lot of wandering hands, when it comes down to musical equipment, especially in the live circuit. There's a lot of people going, I'll have that. And especially with people with phones now as well, it's even more dangerous, because all a would-be thief would have to do at a gig is come to a gig, see what guitars you have, put them into Google and see what they are and see what they're worth. And if they're not worth anything, they're not likely to be interested. But if they're worth a fair bit of money, they're probably going to get, itchy fingers and try and grab them. And that's happened so many times. You hear of people, having their Gibson Les Pauls stolen and all sorts of other stuff stolen just because somebody obviously knows what it is, or they've run it through Google. Google is is a thief's best friend at that point. But anyway, yeah, coming back to the question, I always come back eventually, don't I? But yeah, I own a lot of guitars. Is there any you don't connect with? No. There's no guitars I own at this point in time which I don't connect with. Literally, all the guitars I have, I love and I connect with. Granted, some of the ones I have, I connect with more than I do others, but they've all got a big connection to me. And there are some guitars that I won't play. I've got my Jimi Hendrix Strat, which is a Squier Affinity, which I've had since probably about 2005. It was a gift. Somebody bought me it. And that's refinished. It's a Jimi Hendrix guitar. It's actually left-handed. It's upside down. It's refinished in nitro. It's all checked. It's got Evil Sheep experience pickups in it, which are amazing. But it's a guitar I never play. But would I get rid of it? No. Because I'm connected to it because of what that guitar means to me. The same with I've got a vintage V6 Strat at home as well. Not the one that Nicole and Marjo have. Not the one I gave to them. Another one that me, Marjo and Nicole refinished when they came to visit me in England last year. And we refinished that and put it together. And when I went to France, we modded it as well, even more. We chopped off the last fret, so it's just a 21 fret. We put a single ply guard on it, which was Marjo's guitar's original scratch plate. And we basically just kind of messed it up. And also Marjo and Nicole have written on the back of it, and I've clear coated that so I don't lose it. And that's another guitar I'll never play but the sentimental value of that and how much it connects with me is really important. So it sits in a case, and it's a guitar I'll never sell. But I can't live without that guitar, if that makes any sense. It's really weird. Even though I don't play it, I still connect with it. And if it was gone, I would be heartbroken. it really, that guitar means so much to me. It's much in the same way as Nicole and Marshall mean everything to me. You know what I mean? That guitar is it's such an important part of kind of my relationship with them too, and my friendship with them too as well. I love it. It's really, really cool. So, and also I got other guitars as well. My first ever guitar, my Washburn Maverick series. I don't play it, but I couldn't get rid of it, and I'm connected to it. So all the guitars I own, even if I don't play them, I've got connections to. Like I say, if a guitar does come along that I'm not connected to, I will get rid of it. Anyway, PooperTube, that's a lot of talking. I'm going to move on to question 2 now. I hope that's a question. So, question 2 today is, Josh Kilinghoffer didn't work for the Chili Peppers because he didn't have a great musical relationship with Flea. Where John and Flea were born to play music together and share the same brain. Where John and Flea were born to play music together because they have the same brain. I can't think of a more united bass and guitar player. What are your thoughts on this? I totally agree, yeah. I don't think for one second Josh had the connection with Flea or Chad or Anthony, to be honest with you, that John has. I personally believe that the Chili Peppers have a very fractious relationship. I don't think they're as pally as they let on. If you look into the history, especially By the Way era, and Blood Sugar Sex Magic and stuff like that, but they weren't, it wasn't a band for wimps. When John first joined, Anthony and Flea bullied him. You know what I mean? They bullied him relentlessly, because he was the young guy. He was 17 years old, going on 18 years old. It's like, he's a young guy. They've already been there, done it, and they think they're more up there than he is, and he's just a young whippersnapper. And they bullied him mercilessly, and, they gave him a hard time. They really did. And it's sad, really, because I look at some of those early Chili Peppers gigs, and you can kind of see that John isn't really being John. He's trying to fit in. He replicates what Anthony does. He replicates what Flea does. He'll show off. He'll play up to things where it almost looks uncomfortable on his part. It's like, he doesn't want to be doing it, but he's doing it anyway. And when John came back into the band in Californication, I feel that was the most united they'd ever been, personally, as a band. That entire tour, the Californication tour, they're so connected, all of them. It's unreal. And then you get the By the Way tour, where John basically became like an egomaniac, and Flea wanted to quit the band because John had gone so over the top of like taking control, and Flea had his breakdown and told John exactly what he thought of him, and they had a big bust up, and then they had a big make-up, and then they were okay again for a while, and then Stadium Arcadium came along, and they were kind of okay then. And then, obviously, towards the end of Stadium Arcadium tour, everything just went through the floor again. But I think some bands have to function that way. You look at bands like the Kinks, they were exactly the same. I mean, they didn't get on. The Police, they didn't get on. But they're capable of making amazing music through that kind of like conflict, if you will. But I totally agree with this. I don't think Josh had the connection at all. I feel he was totally disconnected from a band, which is one of the reasons why I always say he doesn't work in the band. He doesn't work in the Chili Peppers. He doesn't fit. I remember watching the Giza Pyramid gig, and Flea kept going into these kind of bass jams between songs, and then Chad would join in, and it was always kind of like, if John was there, John would have joined in on guitar, and you'd have had this entire kind of like different song jam session, and it would have been really, really cool. Josh didn't play. I remember I actually joined in. I was sat at home with my Boss Katana Mini and my white Strat, and I was watching the whole gig, and when Flea went into these things, after the first one, I noticed Josh didn't join in, so I did, and I started playing along with Flea instead, which was great fun. And I wish I was there all of a sudden. It's like, this is what it sounded like if I was there. Anyway, I'll never be there, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, my woes aside. But yeah, I totally agree. I don't think Josh fitted. He didn't have a connection with Flea at all, and everything just seemed a little bit too stifled. Personally, I just don't feel anything had the right flow. I don't think Josh was the right guitarist at all to take the place of John. I think it was a very, 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 very poor decision on behalf of them personally. I mean, yeah, they got 2 albums out of it, but they're not the best albums of Chili Peppers. I mean, they're not going to go down in history like Californication or By the Way or Stadium Arcadium or Blood Sugar Sex Magic, or even the early ones, Uplift Moto Party or whatever. They're not going to go down in history as those. They're just not. They're good, and there's some good songs on there, but I've always said though, I personally believe the Chili Peppers function best when they've got a strong lead guitarist, and Josh was not that. He's a good guitarist, but he ain't a strong guitarist, and he's definitely not a lead guitarist like John was. You know, the Chili Peppers need like that Hendrixian kind of style, and then also that kind of funk style of like, you know, Nile Rodgers and stuff like that. And Josh didn't really have any of that. Josh is kind of erratic and weird and more Johnny Greenwood-esque than that. And as a result, I don't think that fits with Flea, the way Flea plays. I don't think it fits with the way Chad plays, and I don't think it fits with the way that Anthony puts lyrics to things. You know, I just don't think it works personally, and it didn't work. You know, obviously John's back. You know, they kicked Josh out as soon as John came back, which I still feel absolutely heartbroken for Josh. That was not fair, in my opinion. I think Josh got a very, 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 very rum deal out of that. You know, one day he's in Chili Peppers, they're recording an album, they've just about finished this new album that's recorded, they're mixing it, 12 brand new songs with Josh. And then one day, oh, John's coming back, you're out, we're doing a whole new album, that album's going in the bin. No. In my book, Josh did not deserve that. I mean, I don't like Josh's guitar playing. I don't like him in the Chili Peppers, but he didn't deserve that. No one deserves that. That is cruel. And I don't know if that was from a business perspective. I don't know if that was a personal perspective, if they weren't getting on. Because I personally believe when Josh first joined the Chili Peppers, he didn't fit at all. Later on, he started to fit a bit better, but he was still square peg in a round hole. And I really feel that they had a lot of talks with Josh to try and rein him in, to make him more John. And it didn't work, because Josh is Josh. You know, and he can't be anybody else. John's John, you know, and he can't be anybody else. But I think they had words with Josh, try and make him a bit more like John, and it didn't work. Anyway, but, you know, but I totally agree. I don't think Josh connected, and I think that's one of the reasons why they did get rid of him so easy when John came back. I still question the motives of John coming back. I don't get it. It's so out of the blue. John spent a lot of his time when he first left the Chili Peppers basically like having a go at Flea and Anthony and Chad and the Chili Peppers and the pop music they make. You know, I'm sick, I'm done making pop music. You know, and then 10 years later, like down the line, he comes back around to it. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, as a John Frusciante fan, I'm over the moon. But it just freaks me out. And John being the way he is, what's the motivation here? You know, what's the motivation? Was he asked to come back by the Chili Peppers? Did he want to come back on his own thingy? Did they offer him loads of money to come back? I don't know. I as much as I'm a John Frusciante nut, as you know, I want to see it objectively. I don't want to see it as kind of like, you know, skewed by, oh my God, John's back. I'm like, well, why? You know, what's the motivation here? You know, is it money? I hope it's not. Is it this, that, and the other? You know, what is it? I hope it's just the fact he just wanted to come back and play music with the Chili Peppers and write the best music he can with the Chili Peppers and this and the other. But I almost get a feeling that this is the last hurrah of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's almost like John coming back, we'll do one more album, we'll do one more tour, and then we'll just go our separate ways, and the Chili Peppers is done. Over. You know, is that a thing as well? I mean, only time will tell, and only they know that. But I just get that feel. This is like, it does. It feels like a last hurrah. It feels like Cream at the Albert Hall, you know, reuniting for that one last time before calling it totally quits. I don't know. I'm just a bit sceptical, people on YouTube. And again, I don't like to be sceptical because John's my hero, and I don't like to say bad things about him. But he's not. I don't know where I stand with him as a human. I know where I stand with him on his guitar playing and his music. But as a human, I don't know where I am with him. Because I just don't know. I just don't know the man. You know what I mean? I just don't know him and what people say of him sometimes. I mean, you don't know what to believe. I mean, until you know these people personally inside and out, it's kind of like down to speculation. So I always try and like maintain that kind of backstep view, if you will, of John. Because, like, you know, I'd be terrified to meet John and he isn't my hero. You know what I mean? Because that would just tar it. Yeah, just absolutely ruin it for me. It's like my friend Charlie. Charlie was the perfect hero. I did a video on my friend Charlie calling him the perfect hero. Because he is. He was exactly what you would want from your hero to be. You know, anybody, you know, we've all got heroes in our lives, whether it be our parents, you know, people who've influenced us, whatever. We've all got these people in our lives. And when they're not what they appear to be, because you don't know them in the first place, it really just sours it. It's like that. It's that saying, isn't it? Don't meet your heroes. You know, I would love to meet John Frusciante. I would love to play with John Frusciante. I'd love to play music with him. But I mean, I'm not under any illusions. I know that's not going to happen. That's Dave Simpson's stupid fantasy world. That's not reality world at all. That's never going to happen. He probably don't even know who I am. Even though, like, you know, I know he got given my album and this, that, and the other. You know, I mean, in my world, I don't know if he listened to it. I don't know if he liked it. I've never heard anything from him. How would I know? You know, I don't know if he put it in the bin. I don't know if he used it as a frisbee. I don't know if he ate off it as a plate, or he did listen to it and liked it or hated it. I don't know. I mean, the man never contacted me. I'm not gonna know, and it's not up to him to contact me. I mean, I didn't expect it to. But that's enough. That picture of him holding my album is enough for me. That's the closest I'm ever going to get. I've played his guitar. I'm not going to get any closer than that, and that's just life. Anyway, but yeah, I totally agree. This went on to a bit of a rant about that, but I totally agree that Josh didn't fit. He didn't have a connection like John and Flea do, and he didn't have a connection with the rest of the band like they all do. You know, like I say, he was a square peg in a round hole, and no matter how hard they hit it, it never went in. So it was a bit of a nightmare, really. I'm so happy John's back. I'm super upset that I couldn't afford to go and see them. Like I say, it wasn't even I couldn't afford it, but there's also a thing here of that's far too much money for seeing the Chili Peppers. I've seen them twice, both for £45. I saw them at Hyde Park in the Golden Circle for £45. I'm not about to pay nearly 400 quid for a golden. I don't have that kind of money to spend on a concert ticket anyway. You know, and again, it just came down to like the moral thing of it. I'm not doing that. I'm not spending that much money to go and see that band. As much as I love them, I'm not doing that. I have to make a stand on that one, Pikachu, more than anything, because I just feel it's wrong. Much in the same way I won't put my music on Spotify or iTunes, I'm not doing that. I have to make a stand at something. Some things just feel wrong, and charging your fans £350 for a ticket just so they can get up front is wrong. I don't care if it's the band who decided that, I don't care if it's the record company who decided that, or Ticketmaster, whoever. Whoever decided it, you're wrong. It's disgusting. And I have to make a stand. So even if I could afford it, I wouldn't go on principle. I'm not paying that amount of money to go and see them. That is not fair. And it just feels really classist. I mean, I'm not going to get into all that lot, to be honest with you. But, you know, you're taking money away from people who might not necessarily have that money, and you are playing on the fact of this might be the last hurrah of the Chili Peppers with John Frusciante. And it grates on me. It just feels wrong. It just feels wrong. And there's a lot of artists doing that. You know, Adele, Liam Gallagher, they're all over the place. Oh yeah, give us 350 quid and you can come stand closer to the stage. What happened to getting there early and getting to the front of the stage for 45 quid or even less? You got there early and you ran to the front of the stage and then you were at the front. Not, oh yeah, if you want to get to the front of the stage, you got to pay. Otherwise, you're back there and you can't see anything and it sounds bad. I could go on about that for till the cows come home, Pikachu, but I'm going to move on from that before I get really angry, because that makes me very angry. Okay, so I'm going to move on to question 3 now, Pikachu. So, question 3 today is, what aspects of your playing would you most like to improve musically? The aspect of my playing I'd like to improve musically is play with more feel. I'm still not happy where I am. It feels like I'm not quite connecting with people the way I want it to. You know, it's connecting with a lot of people, my playing is, but it's not reached the height I want it to reach. It probably never will, but I will strive to get there first. You know, I'll strive to get there. That's the idea. I just want to play the best I can play emotionally. Not technically. Not this, that, and the other. I don't want to play how fast I can play. I want people to feel it. Undisputably, I just want to play with all the emotion I can muster that music will push through me and push out of me and get people to just feel every note the way I feel it. That's what I want. That is the main part I want to improve. I'm at this point in time, I'm done with technical ability. I'm done with this, that, and the other. I don't want to do that. I just want to play from there, and I want people to feel every note I play. I want them to feel it and just get it. And in so doing, like, I want people to either feel better about their situation. If they feel happy or they feel sad, I want them to feel kind of like even happier, or remember something that made them even happier. And if they feel sad, make them feel happy. And if they feel alone, make them feel like there's somebody there. I just want to make. I want my music to get people to a good place. I don't want my music to take them to dark places unless it's healthy for them. You know, because music can take you to a dark place, but sometimes that's like a purging thing, which is really, really good. But and if that's the case, that's cool as well. But I don't want music to kind of like just be kind of like, you know, oh, that's impressive to look at, or that's an impressive sound. I want people to literally feel everything. And I don't feel like I come quite there yet on that one. I really, 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 really want that. That is the biggest thing I want with music, and that's what I'm working towards and have been working towards for years now, is every time I pick up a guitar, it means everything. You know, I can't pick up the guitar and just go, yeah, that'll do. It's not good enough, Dave. You need to do it again. If it's just that'll do, you do it again. And you do it until it feels like you've put everything in. Today's intro jam, I was away, I was gone. And that's the point, is like, if I can't get into that state, then it ain't right. You know, and it doesn't happen all the time. And it's very frustrating when it doesn't happen, because I'm just like, you know, but, you know, that you can't have it all the time. You know, you can't. It's not one of those things. But it's really important for me to be able to play and have people feel it. I don't want to be the most flashiest guitarist in the world. I don't want to be the fastest guitarist in the world. I don't want to be the most kind of like over elaborate kind of flamboyant guitarist in the world. I just want people to, when I play, feel it. And not because I want them to feel my emotions. I want them to feel their own emotions. Like, what does it make them feel? Where does it take them? What does it make them remember? What period of their life does it take them back to? And does it make them happy? Does it make them sad? Does it make them whatever? You know, and is it helpful to them? That's what I want it to be. Because music to me has always been my therapy, my biggest form of therapy, and my medication, and my ability to meditate and calm and shut the ugliness of the world out and just focus on just nothing and just be away, just be one with music, and just let music just come through me, just be that conduit and that marionette puppet. Let it do what it wants with me, and whatever it wants from me, I will do. I am at the mercy of music, and I love it. I want to be. I just, you know, hold my hands up to music and go, do what you want. You know, just get it. Just you know, I am music's I just want it to come through that way. That sounds really ego-y. I do apologise, people. That sounds really naff. Ignore that. But that's what I want. I want people to really kind of feel what I play, and I feel like I'm not quite there yet. I mean, I want that more than than being like, hey, look at me, I can shred a million notes a second. It's like, you know, I've been there and I've done that, and I don't want to do that really anymore. I still shred occasionally because I like it's a good exercise and it keeps my dexterity in, and I do enjoy it sometimes, but I don't do it for a great period of time. You know, it's not something I enjoy particularly, to be honest with you, but I do like doing it because, again, it's good for keeping everything going, and I like it's kind of a good workout, you know, and it's important to do, I think, every now and again. But yeah, so that's where I'm. You know, that is the thing I would most like to improve musically on, is that, you know, play things that people can really feel and help them. You know, I want my music and my playing to help you. It's, you know, it helps me in my own way, but I want it to help you as well. I want it to be, you know, it's more than just kind of like music at that point. Yeah, well, it is. Music is therapy, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It's musical therapy. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, got there in the end, people too. But that's what I want it to be, you know, and that's where music wants me to be, and I love it being there. I've got no desire to be shreddy. Look at me, you know. I just don't want to be that. That's not what music is to me, and that's not what the guitar is to me, and it's not what music is to me. And it just doesn't feel right to do that. So the more I can be kind of like in the moment with music and emote, that's the one. That's exactly what I want to do. So that's the aspect of my playing I really want to improve on. Is every time I hit a note, it can like transport somebody to a point in time or an emotion, you know, and everyone's going to feel it differently, which again is awesome. And it really upsets me when I feel like I can't do that. Like if I do a gig, and because I play a lot of pubs, sadly, like, you know, and you're playing to people who aren't there for you. They don't care about you. They're not there for you. Trying to get through to those people is impossible because they're not there for you. So they ain't listening to you in the first place, and they're not going to give it a chance. And that's another one of the problems with music in this day and age. I find people choose. There's so many people not willing to give music that chance to let it in that far. It's just a noise for a background thing, and it's hard work, and it really upsets me. I really wish it wasn't that way, but again, the cheapening of music, it all comes down to that. The cheapening of music, it's just keeps getting that. Anyway, question 3, part 2. Is what aspect of your technique would you most like to improve or polish? None at this point in time. Where my technique is, when I first started playing guitar, for the first, from year 2 of playing guitar to about maybe year 4, 5 of playing guitar, I was obsessed with technique. Is that the best it can be? Is that best it can be? So, and I was just obsessed with it. You know, I was obsessed with being really, really fast and really, really flashy and really, really showy. And that's what I did for years and years and years, is worked on my technique. And in all fairness, that stood me in really good stead for where I am now, because if I want to do it, I can do it. Granted, some of the techniques that I learnt along the way, I've lost the ability to do. I can't sweep pick anymore. I can't 8-finger tap. I can't multiple finger tap. None of my guitars are set up for that kind of thing anyway, but I can't do that stuff anymore because I never liked to do it in the first place. I never liked the sound of sweep picking. I used to be able to do it, but I can't do it anymore, and I don't miss it for one minute. But yeah, at this point in time, my technique is exactly where it needs to be. It's all about the music. It's not about the technique at this point in time. I'm not interested in bettering my technique. I'm interested in bettering myself musically. The technique can come later on if I ever get back round to there. At this point in time, I'm not in that part. Music doesn't want me in that bit. I've been there, and I've come out of that, and I'm where I am now. But will I go back round into it? Who knows? I don't know. Music knows. I'm not supposed to know until it tells me what it wants. And then I will obey, because music is everything. But yeah, so technique isn't the thing. I just want to improve musically now. I just want to be able to kind of like write the best music I can write, play the best guitar I can play, and be the best music I can be. That's what I want to be. And and technique doesn't really come into it at this point in time. So yeah. Anyway, hope it's such a question. Going to move on to the final question today. People do question 4 now. Okay, question 4 today, and this question goes to you, people of the tube, as well. I want to hear your answers in the comment section below. Question 4 is, if you were playing a blues or rock or any kind of gig, we'll just go blues rock, because that's what the trio does. If you were playing a blues rock gig, choose your gig as well, people of the tube. You want it to be a funk gig, a disco gig, reggae, blues, rock, metal, extreme death metal. Pick your gig. Let us know what gig it would be and what you'd pick. Anyway, get to the point. If you were playing a blues rock gig and you could only take one guitar, one amp with 2 channels, and one stomp pedal, what would it be? Okay, so if I was doing a gig where I had to just do one guitar, one amp, one pedal, done, and it was blues rock, I'd probably go. Well, the guitar would be my white Strat. If I had to pick one guitar out of all guitars, I'm always going to go for my white Strat. So it'd be my white Strat, Mr. White. Pedal-wise, it would be very easy as well. It'd just be a Vox Wah Wah pedal, the silver top. That's the only pedal I'd want. It's the only pedal I really need, if I'm being perfectly honest. I've got a 2-channel amp. And the amp I would pick... initially, I was going to pick the Katana 50, but the Katana 50 is technically a 4-channel amp. I mean, you can only pick 2. You got 2 banks, though, of 2 channels that you can use. You got bank A, which is 2 presets, and bank B, which has got 2 presets. So I thought, to be fair, I won't pick the Katana because it's technically a 4-channel amp, even though you can only use 2 at a time, but you can flip from one bank to the other. So technically you've got 4 presets, and because this question was only 2 channels, I'm going to outlaw the Boss Katana. So no Boss Katana allowed, which upsets me deeply. But it's okay, because I still have my Marshall MGs, CR120, and the Super Crush. But between those 3, it'd be a very difficult choice. I really love the Marshall MG. I would be happy to go to a gig with the Marshall MG. It's 2-channel. It's technically 4-channel, but you can only ever use 2. It's not like the Boss Katana where you can flip between the 2, because the Marshall MG's got clean, crunch, OD1, and OD2. But you can only either use clean or crunch, or OD1 or OD2. You can't go between OD1 and OD2, and you can't go between clean and crunch. You just can't do that. You can only go between kind of like clean and OD. So, anyway, so I do love a Marshall MG, and I'd be very happy to go to a gig with it. It sounds immense, but it doesn't quite have enough gain in it for me to be comfortable. You know I like a lot of gain. So it'd be a toss-up between the Super Crush or the CR120, and I don't know out of those 2 which one I'd actually pick. It'd be really tough, because the Super Crush is a little bit brighter than the CR, but the CR's got more oomph to it. So it's really hard to pick this one. Like I say, guitar and pedal was easy. Mr. White and a Vox Wah. But picking an amp is really difficult. Because in all fairness, what I'd probably do... no, I would use both channels. I really don't know. People with you. That's a really tough one to answer, because I don't actually know. It would definitely be one of these 2. As much as I love my MG, OD2 is not quite enough gain for me. I like to be able to sing, and as much as the Marshall does sing on its own, when you plug straight into it, and I'm gonna revisit the Marshall MG as well, people with you, because I absolutely love it. I also want to do a shootout between Marshall MG and the Plexi here as well. I want to see if the MG can sound like that Plexi. I'm trying to think if there's any other alternatives I can think of in my amp collection that I could go for. Because obviously there's the super reverb as well, and the deluxe, but again, they don't really distort heavily. They get to kind of like light overdrive, but that's about it. I want mass distortion, because I love me mass distortion. I had to go weirdly boss-eyed then, just to kind of hammer that home. I think it would probably be the Super Crush. I prefer, if I'm going to go straight into an amp, I prefer the Super Crush, because it's just got a little bit more presence to it than the CR. The CR's big, fat, dark, and like that, and it's just like this. And the Super Crush does the same thing, but it's a little bit brighter, and it'll have a little bit more cut for live. And also, they both got more gain than I'll ever need, but that it just has a little bit more to it. And also, having the non-true bypass wire will darken that down a bit. Having a non-true bypass wire in front of the CR120 will darken it down maybe a little bit too much. It might lose cut. But I will say that, honestly, this is something that I've discovered recently, that I prefer running my pedal board through the CR120 over the Super Crush. The Super Crush, to me, I love going straight into, but I don't really like it with my pedal board. That's something I've discovered recently, is I really enjoy playing that thing straight. Just in, turn it up, go for it. That's really awesome. I love doing that with the CR as well, but I much prefer the CR with pedals. I don't really like the Super Crush for pedals, which is weird. It's evolving. It's really strange. I would still use it, but if I had a choice between the CR and that for pedals, the CR wins out over the Super Crush. I mean, in all fairness, they're both ridiculously amazing amps. But I'd definitely prefer the CR, which is why it's there for pedal board. If I'm going straight into an amp, the Super Crush is awesome. So's the CR, so's the Marshall MG, so's the Boss Katana. You know, it's hard to pick one of these things. But I think if I was going to a blues rock gig, I can only take one pedal, one guitar, one amp, two channels, channel switching. It would be the Super Crush. Just because, again, it's got a little bit more cut to it. It cleans up a little bit nicer on the volume control. I prefer the clean channel on this Super Crush. Not a great deal. I still think it's a weak point of the amp, but it's nicer than the CR120's clean channel, which I just never use. In all fairness, I could happily just chop off the clean channel of the CR120 and to be happy with the dirty channel. Or two dirty channels, Orange. Two dirty channels. One with lower gain, one with higher gain. You did it with the AD30. Say no, I don't think Orange are even pushing the Super Crush. I don't think they're pushing any of these amps anymore. I think they've just kind of given up. But hey, what do I know? That's my opinion. But yeah, if I had to do that, it'd be the Super Crush. I'd just go straight in, turn the beast up, and then go for it. And again, it's just got a little bit more cut to it, so I think it would just kind of like... It would sit more where it needs to sit in the mids, you know what I mean? The CR120, having played straight into this amp, I've done a few gigs where I've played straight into the CR120, no pedals. Literally no pedals as well, not even a wah. It does tend to kind of like... It's big and fat, but it just sits as a thickener. When you go for a lead kind of thing with the CR120 straight in, it doesn't really cut, especially the way I run it, the way I like to run it. Whereas I think the Super Crush would massively. Anyway, that's it, people tube. That's it for this A&Q Wednesday. I hope I've answered your questions okay. I hope it's been informative. I hope there's been something in there that you can go away with, hopefully, fingers crossed. Mr. Fear is always here. Anyway, if you would like to submit a question for A&Q Wednesday, people of YouTube, the description box below has an email link. Email me there. If you like the videos I do here, please consider becoming a Patreon at Patreon. It really helps out. People on Patreon who are supporting me, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much indeed. You are legends. I bow to you. I really do. I bow to you because, honestly, without you right now, I couldn't be here. I couldn't do this. It would be impossible. So thank you so much indeed. If you're a Patreon on Patreon, I am so, from every part of me, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much indeed. It really means a lot to me. There's also a link in the description box to Dave merch as well. Good gravy stuff. I will try and get some more stuff up in the new year. There's also a link as well to my Bandcamp as well. Please go over there and please consider buying an album to support me and my band, the Dave Simpson Trio. It really helps us as well. Thank you very much indeed, people of YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And again, to my Patreons, thank you. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much indeed. You are literally what keep this channel going. Without you, this channel would... I wouldn't be able to do it. As simple as that. It just would not be able to do it. So thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have any more words. Thank you is not enough. It really isn't. Anyway, anyway, I'll see you again on Friday for another video, everybody. Last vid of 2021. So, crazy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vid, people too. I will see you again on Friday for another vid. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm sure some of you might be able to guess. But until then, I will see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and goodbye now. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye.